So I was just recording for like 7 minutes and none of it saved. Clearly I have not made this type of content on my channel before, so yay, first anime review, which of course this first one means I have no idea what I'm doing, but do I ever know what I'm doing? Since people are like, they apparently like me making Toradora content, and of course I literally have an obsession with Toradora, we have more Toradora content coming your way. In fact, I've started collecting the light novel. I only got 2, but I'll keep you updated because I need to make a video where we compare what happens in a light novel to the anime, and then we can figure out what's going on with the manga. Don't even get me started on that right now. We have a different thing to talk about today. Before we get into the review, I do want to say that this show is not completed yet. They're 2 seasons in, and I know they're gonna make a 3rd one. I wouldn't be surprised if they made more than that. So, this video is only the first 2 seasons. I can review season 3 when it comes out. This is kinda gonna be spoilers, but not really, as we're not gonna say many things that happen in the plot because there isn't really a plot. It's kinda spoilers, but it's not like there's some major plot twist in the story. The story's pretty easygoing, I would say. By the way, I'll probably only be reviewing anime and the romance genre just because that's what I like, is spicy. They're pretty light going, there's lots of drama of course, but it's not like super plot heavy most of the time. It's not like a random twist around every corner. I mean, you know, but not like something that will drastically change the story. So I have seen a lot of the more popular anime, obviously Toradora, but I've seen more than that. I've seen a lot more than that, and I might review those eventually. The problem is, since I've seen them in the past year, because I just started properly watching anime like a year ago, I don't really want to rewatch them again so soon for the sake of making a review. So I'll probably get around to some of those in the future, because I do have some words on Darling in the Franxx. Just so you know, I am working on Fruits Basket right now, although that show is kind of long in terms to, you know, how long most of them are. So that's gonna take a while. I might do a different show in between that. So yeah, Kaguya-sama Love is War. That is what we are talking about today. I'm going to start this off by saying I feel like there are 2 types of romance anime in this genre. Well, it's not just romance, it's kind of just like the shoujo, slice of life, high school, whatever, you know. I feel like there are 2 kinds. They're kind that they value the comedy more, where it's like, yeah, these 2 characters have a crush on each other, but it's more about making jokes than actually getting stuff done, you know? And then there are the shows that actually like value the relationship. Obviously, they still have pretty good jokes sometimes, but whether that's like they actually develop the relationship halfway through the show and then they show them being a couple, or it takes the whole show for them to realize their feelings for each other and then they like hold hands at the end or something. Either way, yeah. Sometimes it can be a little bit of both, which is always good, but this show, I think it falls more to the comedy side. So what most romance anime do is, because obviously a lot of them are based off of mangas, you know, it'll just be an anime adaptation, except they'll only do 1 season and they'll only get like to a certain portion of this happens a lot. They'll only get to a certain portion of the manga. They'll only do like the first quarter of it, and so then a lot of times the ending's very satisfying, and then it's like, well, it's not very satisfying, and then you're like, well, this show ended, what, 7 years ago, so they're probably not going to make a 2nd season. So even if you like the characters, I feel like a lot of times the ending is sometimes disappointing, because it's like, well, now what? I mean, of course you could always go read the manga, but that's not always as easy. What I think is good about this show is that if they had just the first season on the seasons aren't like, they're not like too worried about the sequential order of when the events happen, where it's not like, oh, we need to make the last episode really dramatic or whatever. It's just kind of adapting the manga in sets of 12 episodes. Yeah, so the seasons aren't that long in this show. And so I feel like if there was just the 1 season, it would have been good, and the ending for the first season was pretty good, but that was because it was only for the first season. If that was the last episode of the show in general, it would seem pretty mediocre, because the ending was not you know. I think what's good about them making more seasons is that they're going to keep adapting the anime, and I think that's good because we'll get to see things actually happen. I haven't read the manga, just to put that out there. Now I should probably actually talk about this show. This show, I will say, it is a little bit more on the comedy side, but I think the longer it goes, the more it'll turn into the romantic side. I'm not sure if this is true, but I saw something, and it was like, if this is going based off the timeline of the manga, or something like that, then Kaguya will probably end up confessing her feelings in season 3, which is good because then I think once we get to that point, we'll see more of the romantic side of that if they actually end up getting in a relationship, which, like I said, I don't know because I haven't read the manga. This show is definitely very comedic. Like, the jokes are really funny and stuff, but also this show has really good emotional moments. Like, it doesn't feel out of place or anything. The jokes are really good and the emotional scenes are really good because sometimes you forget that, like, you don't notice that the jokes aren't there because the emotional scenes just got you like, oh man, what's gonna happen? I think the longer the show runs, the more we'll see the more romantic side if the relationship keeps getting better. Obviously, the show is called Kaguya-sama, Love is War, and we have our two main characters, okay? Let's talk about the characters. We have the main girl, Kaguya, who is the vice president of the student council, and she has a crush on the president of the student council, Shirogane, and he has a crush on her, except neither of them want to admit it, so they're kind of just like, oh, I'll get you to confess your feelings first, and it's like a war, which is why the show is called Love is War. I should mention, because this is very important to me in an anime, the theme songs are very catchy, both the season 1 and the season 2 ones. I like the season 1 theme song, and then my sister ended up watching season 2 with me. She didn't see the first season, but I'll talk about this in a second. Not much really happened in season 1. And so yeah, we just like to jam out to both of them, honestly. What was I saying? Frick. They're in the student council. Most of the show takes place in the student council, and then you have like your secretary, Chika, best girl. Well, Haisaka's pretty good. I don't know, debate in the comments. And then Ishigami is the treasurer, and they didn't honestly introduce him till like halfway through season 1. It's just like, oh yeah, he's there too. So that's a good transition. The first season of this show is like, since I think they're spreading it out so long, they're not worried about fitting the entire plot of the whole manga into one season because they're doing at least 3. I wouldn't be surprised if the show went on for even more seasons. Since they weren't so worried about cramming the whole story into the first season, a lot of it, like I said, it's just comedic. It's just them making funny jokes, kind of getting to know the characters a little bit. And then I honestly think that means season 2 is a little bit better because there's just simply more plot to work with. Also, season 2 was really funny. I'm just gonna say, maybe I'm saying that because I watched that after season 1, of course, so it's just fresh in my mind. But there were some really good moments in season 2, both funny and emotional. There were even some spicy parts. But yeah, we do introduce some new characters in the second season, and they're pretty good too. I feel bad for Ino. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I feel really bad for her because she ended up joining the student council, and every time she walks in on them, she's just traumatized, the poor girl. The side characters, I'm not gonna get into them. They contribute to some of the jokes sometimes, and it's, like I said, it's pretty funny. I think the second season, it's interesting because I said it's kind of more plot because the first season was just like Kaguya and Shirogane going against each other. It was like a thing happens and then they both overthink where it's like, well, if I say this, then he could do that, and if he does that, then what am I gonna do? But the second season, I feel like the more time they spend together, they're not as worried about that. And it really leads me to think that they could get together. It will kind of be one of those shows where it's like they both have a crush on each other. Is something gonna happen? I don't know, but like I said, something could happen, probably even in the next season. And I'm hoping if that ends up happening, then there will be more romantic moments. Of course, it'll still be very comedic, but hopefully we'll get some good moments out of the two of them. Kiss already. I think their relationship is really good as long as they're not like obsessing over each other and they can actually make it work. I don't know if I can comment on that too much yet, as we haven't really seen that. I feel like I've said nothing about this show at all. If you want something with more plot details in it, you're gonna have to watch a different video, or just go watch the anime for yourself. I think it's a good time if you're looking for something more casual, but there are also, like I said, some really good romantic moments, emotional moments, definitely those. All the characters are really good, even the side characters. I would recommend this show to somebody, probably. I would recommend it to you if you haven't seen it yet. I don't know why you're watching this video if you haven't seen it yet, but it's not like super romantic-y. I do think it is more on the comedy side. You just want to get a good laugh, I'd say this is a pretty good show. How have I been ranting for like 13 minutes, yet I haven't really said a single thing? I guess I've said all the things I really wanted to say, and I still feel like I've said nothing, so this review was kind of boring, but to be honest, there's not really much plot to really work with, I feel like. Well, there is plot, but most of it's just like funny things that happen. For the overall of the show, it's not like... Okay. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I don't know what I'm saying half the time when I record. Like, I don't know what I'm doing at all. So yes, that is just my overall general view of the show. If you want something with more details, like I said, you'll have to watch a different video. Watch the show yourself. Yeah. Okay. Bye. Bruh, okay, this is Taylor in editing. Turns out my original footage didn't delete at all. I had it this whole time! Hi, Asaka, just